Okay, well, spring cleaning came a little early this year since I was working on Ken's rifle and I lost the safety arm tensioner spring. I had to make another one to put in it, which seems to be working rather well actually. Might even shorten the trigger pull a little bit. I'm not quite sure how all that stuff interrelates between the trigger mechanism, the safety arm for the cocking lever, and anti-bear trap, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's a little messy, but I have been starting from here all the way around to there. I had two big boxes of the reclining racing buckets seats in boxes in the corner. There's $600 worth of seats I'd take $300 for just to get rid of. Black with gray center and the full color logo and on the headrest and, Fast and Furious kind of seats. And I have just got a mess here, taking everything down to bare floor, besides little vacuuming and spring cleaning while I'm about it, to rearrange the room while I look for that spring. Two top shelves on the shelf there I got to look through yet. My little wooden cart there, a metal cart to match it, but the wood top, butcher block top, that's downright handy there. And there's the two buckets. And the box is down here from the backstop, which is laying around here right there. So keep looking for that spring, and Ken, if I don't find it, I'll just get you a new one. I gotta test the metal on the shroud anyway in an inconspicuous spot to see if it's aluminum or steel. Minnesota call. Where people call me from all over the place and call from Minnesota or Texas, and they got a Indian sounding voice, and you can hear kids and animals in the background. I don't always mean cats and dogs, folks. So yeah, you got to watch that stuff. They can hack a particular state over here by choice to claim they're a debt collector from here, and then if you're paying attention, they'll be using, like with me, a doctor bill I paid off 2 years ago. I may be old, but I'm not stupid. So anywho, just trying to clean things up here. Got to move all this stuff out of the way so I can paint from, I could spackle, primer, and paint from that corner over this last wall here. I got some kills to put over that from when the kids were younger and stuff like that. So, by hooky or crooky, that rifle will get done, and if it needs be, I'll just buy a new spring from Crossman since they own Benjamin anyway. Can't be more than a couple of bucks. Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting. Since I'll eventually be getting back to the Hot Song 95 stock converted to fit the Striker 1000, 1000 X or S and Edge. They're all the same barreled action, but anyway. I also need to get two sling and swivel kits from the Winchester 1400 CS, the 177 cal Ultra Magnum. The big long one I got with the mossy oak stock. Well, that sling and swivel assembly will fit perfectly on the Striker. So I just basically need to get two of those, and one, because it'll stay with, I have one for each stock basically, and I'll have to order those as well. And we'll be getting to those when I get back to staining both stocks and modifying the 90 Hot Sun 95 stock to fit it, because then I will get the Striker 25 caliber barreled action to fit it, and get the aftermarket gas ram for it that's got more pressure. My longest nut's 60-70 foot-pounds where you can't cock the bloody thing, to see how that goes. wanted to make basically like a high-powered 25 Magnum that only weighs 8.5 pounds, thereabouts. So that's where that's at right now. Kind of in a room's in a mess to try to do a little spring cleaning while I look for that spring, and worst comes to worst, I'll just get another one. Then went zinging off and ricocheted off someplace where I just can't find it. And like I said, I did strip the room all the way before. It's got to be in here somewhere. I'm just not seeing it. Even had an AC unit from the window sitting on the floor over there. I had to take 24 screws out of that thing to get the outer cover, the grill and everything off, so that I could look in there, and for a chance it fell through one of those hole cooling slots, and nope. So I had to put that back together too. And while I'm thinking about it, this is nice. It's kind of cool on my old Weaver Dual X scope here, V22A. 3 to 6 power by 18mm objective fits, even the color fits on this January 77 760 PowerMaster Variant 4 ABS stocks, and it's got this black overwash that fills in the low spots, you know, the checkering and the molded in grain, and then wipe the rest off the surface, and it looks like that. I think it looks pretty nice. But at any rate, there she is. That is a pretty little rifle. Thank you to Donnie Reed over at All Things Airgun for giving it to me. He's got the videos, and the Facebook page, or group, I'm sorry, All Things Airgun. I think the shit's good too. Just had to, had to oil this little felt thing. The piston's like up in here, but the felt thing is back here. This is what you put the 3 drops of oil on. Real coarse looking piece of felt. And then you pump it once. No more than once when you put them away. That keeps the seals in proper condition. Then you just oil it once in a while, and that's it. That's all they need. Oops. And we will also be getting back to this. This is the Hot Sun Model 95 stock. It's got to be chopped and channeled, to put it in hot rodders terms, to get it to fit this Striker 1000X right here, the barreled action. And then when I get this stock done, and on that, actually I'm going to take that stock and strip it down and use some what is it, medium brown Danish walnut stain on it. It's oil with different other things mixed with it, to like penetrating oil stuff, to force it to sink down into really hard wood like beech. Beechwood is what the Striker stocks are. The Striker 1000X stocks are made out of, by the way. Now, speaking of making things as a YouTube creator, I was thinking that they were just, it was sort of like the Nazis, the Third Reich, with their ethnic cleansing back in the 30s, happening again on YouTube with airgun channels. Because I noticed Deer Hunt magazine page is still up on YouTube. They haven't been affected. And Keith Warren and guys like that, that are really big guns that hunt with firearms as well as air arms, shall we say, are still up. And while I'm thinking about it, it is against federal law to lump those air guns in with firearms in the legal sense. You are not allowed to do that at all in any way, shape, or form. So the leftist snowflakes are breaking federal regulations by lumping us into firearms. Most air rifles and air pistols are one shot. You know, like 22s were when 22 bolt actions were when we were kids, where you had to pull the bolt back, put one 22 shell in, close the bolt, and that automatically pulled the safety knob back. I mean the cocking knob back. You had to release the safety to, you know, shoot at your squirrel, rabbit, or whatever. And we were taught proper safety and gun etiquette, as it is called, how to handle them, how to properly take them apart to clean them, how to treat them. You don't point them at anybody. You don't point that thing at anything unless you fully intend to shoot. And we were taught you don't do that with your fellow man. Wartime is something else, or if you're defending the country, you're defending your family from some armed intruder, that's different. Of course, that's different. And don't think you don't need a gun in a house to do that. You can just call the cops. You'll be dead before they can get there. Because you have to take the time to tell them where you're at and what's happening. They have to alert, you know, not the 911 call guy, girl, whatever. And then they have to call the police, and then they have to have time to hear what's going on and react, and then get in the car and get over there. And you're dead by that time. You don't have time for somebody to defend you. You have to do that yourself. That is what the Second Amendment is for, dummy. Okay, so anyway, concerning YouTube, getting back to that, I think maybe my initial thoughts were wrong, that they were changing the algorithms in their software for what's good and what's bad, and you know, and they had to go back and correct that because some of the websites that took off are back up. There's no videos on them. It could be that their servers don't save everything after a certain point. I really don't know, but the dust is starting to settle, so we'll see where that goes. Yeah, that's why we have the right to keep and bear arms. Well, to have not only to have a well-armed militia, even against our own government if they turn against us. Besides, if those are poor defenseless animals are God's creatures, they got fangs and claws and sprays, and you know, depending on the critter, of course, and they can be dangerous. Even a coon, a full-grown raccoon, can rip you a new one. And them things get big. I've seen them things get 1 meter long down by the Black River when they're eating good. You know. And the first thing they do with your dog, for instance, they'll sit up on their hind legs like this and rake across the eyes like this while they're hissing and growling and showing their fangs and everything. The coon's got fangs about that long. Not as big as a dog, like a medium-sized dog, but a couple times the size of a cat. Plus a longer snoot with more teeth, you know, all that stuff. Plus deer, squirrels, rabbits, and everything, they carry various diseases of their own besides ticks, chiggers, fleas. And if there's too many of them in a given area, there's not enough food, and the more they take up the farmers' fields and wild fields and, you know, potter's fields, in other words, and stuff like that, to build more streets and homes and condos and whatnot, the more they're pushed out. And the rest of the country's doing that too, and the rest of the cities around you are all thinking the same thing, so they got no place to go except your backyard to start eating your small children and your pets. We got a cow around here, a big male. I mean, it almost looks like what they call a coyote wolf. It's a coyote crossed with a gray timber wolf, Canis lupus. Canis lupus is actually that big. That is a big honking dog. You'll take a Rottweiler and rip him a new one real fast. We ain't talking German Shepherds here. That's a misnomer. A full-grown gray timber wolf is a big friggin' critter. So anyway, this coyote, the male coyote, a big, good-sized one, you know, is hunting around here in the backyard, following the deer around, because the does would bring their fawns in the backyard to eat the taller grass around the foundation of the house, and what trees and stuff I'd leave for them to have something to eat, you know. Besides the sumac growing on the ditch, little ravine thing back there. And he ate 2 cats I'd raised to be good mousers from kittens. I found bones in the ditch back there. Just skulls and with a little bit of fur on the joints. So keep that in mind, these things I've been telling you when you think about God's poor defenseless creatures. I have to look at the Bible again. It's actually in a book or 2 of the Bible where he tells you the animals you can hunt and eat, and which ones you shouldn't, and spill the blood on the ground for it. That the blood is life, by the way. And even the old timers taught me that. Not sure what he means by a cloven hoof. I got to look that up. I was always a little hazy on that one. But anyway, even the Bible talks about hunting for food, hunting and foraging, which my Apache ancestors did by way of my great-great-great-grandfather, who was one of their chiefs. Apache, Kiowa, and Comanche were all part of the Athabascan tribe. That was the ancient tribe that came across the Bering Strait land bridge and all that. They know now about 12,000 to 15,000 years ago. So that's how long that side of my family's been here. The other sides since 1728, when they came over here on a pink called the John and William. They went from Germany to England, or went to northern Germany or someplace there to where they could catch them at the mouth of this one river. But anyway, 1728 and 1734. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I got something cool I want to show you all. After a lifetime of searching, I finally found a picture of my ancestor. This is a pen and ink and watercolor picture. Say hello to Johann Peter Koger. Koger. He spelled it that way in all legal documents and stuff most of his life. Until later in life he started spelling it Coger. So, you folks in the UK, that's where Coger came from, was Johann Peter. Originally Koger, and his grandfather was Kroger. Kroeger, 1600 to 1684. Johann Peter here was born in 1710. Him and his brother Jacob, and a fellow named Miller I'm related to by marriage, I think, fought the Revolutionary War as Virginia regulars. My family's been down there since they got here, you know, including the chief. He's buried on top of our mountain. And so anyway, him, Jacob, and this Miller feller were Virginia regulars in the Revolutionary War, and they fought at all the big battles like Yorktown, and they were present when the British surrendered to General Washington. That is documented historical fact. So that's Johann Peter, my ancestor. Cool. That is awesome. All my life I've wanted to see him, and it's kind of like the oh, what was the one guy with the Roots guy with Kunta Kinte? At last I found you. You know, he was so happy. Well, that's the way I felt. Same way. Now I know what he felt like. Finally found a picture of Johann Peter Koger. It's really something on Ancestry.com. You guys got to check that one out, because you pay a little extra money, and you can go all the way to Europe and Asia and the UK and overseas from here, you know, in other countries to look for your ancestors, depending on where your tree explorations lead you. And there's a lot of directions it goes, and you never know what. They also got, come think of it now, a new thing on Ancestry.com, stories. You can post stories so that your family's oral traditions can also be preserved for posterity, as it were. And I found a lot more pictures of my mother, my father, my grandmother. I got to go to my brother to get to one of the old timers with the chief. And my full-blooded grandfather, Warwick, people like that. Warwick was a Bavarian cabinet maker, and the one long, solid black walnut table he made was on New Yankee Workshop with Norm Abrams once. I don't remember the episode. I wish I did. I'll have to get a hold of him one of these days and tell him the story. I wish I'd have gotten Grandpa's tools too. Just looked like a bunch of tools in a carrier he made himself, very, very neatly done. Look, it was done by a machine, but it was done entirely by hand. And it was just simple tools. Like I remember telling my grandmother when I was 8 years old, I told her that looks like the kind of tools Noah built the ark with, Grandma. I was smart for my age. My parents used to like showing off to our family, whoever that came over. I heard the first note of an advertisement or a show, and I automatically knew what it was. They were amazed that every time I was right. Okay, so I was the nerdy prodigy kid when I was a boy. Sharp as a tack. But anyhow, I'm gonna ramble a little bit. There's just some stuff I wanted to go over there with you guys. Not exactly a Sunday chat. It's a Monday. Wind finally stopped howling around the house like a lost soul day. Calmed down. It's a blue sky. Just a little light breeze here and there if you want to see out the window. So God bless everybody, and good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see you again.